What is up, Stratters? Playing some $10 See the Unwritten against Quinoa 1. Hopefully this time our opponent will not just draw 4 Snapcaster Mages in his first 30 cards, and all of his counter spells too. That last game was rough. That and basically there's been 2 games so far, 2 matches that we've lost, and those 2 matches have just been. I don't know if I've ever built a deck that could beat them. If I drew optimally, I'd probably have, you know, if I had like the best deck in the format and I drew optimally, I'd probably have a 50% chance against both of those decks given what they drew. It was insane. It was absolutely crazy. We're against some kind of Spirits deck, which is kind of neat. And I needed to draw land and I didn't. I might regret keeping what I kept, but that's fine. You can counter instants and sorceries unless I pay X. It's probably Bant Spirits is my guess. Although he's only played blue so far. I mean, it could be mono blue spirits or something. Or I could be totally misestimating what it is. Obviously, this card is strongest in Spirit Tribal because it gets +1/+1 when a spirit enters battlefield. But it could be something else. I very much want a land turn 2. If I get a land turn 2, I feel pretty good. That's an Arbor Elf. That's not a land. Well, I'm going to use my mana efficiently and play Voyaging Satyr and then cry a little bit. I did keep a 1-lander, so I knew the risk. I was on the draw, and this is a pretty heavy, I mean, not that heavy land, but I have enough lands that you will usually get lands. So I wasn't, like, super worried about it, but I'm starting to regret that. That being said, if he doesn't have good ways to disrupt me, next turn I Overgrowth, and then turn 4 I can slam like Hornet Queen or something and just ruin his Thoptering plans. But let's see what he does. And if I get a land here, I feel extra good because I can Overgrowth plus Arbor Elf is probably what I do. The Snuggler Copter! Getting in, drawing and discarding at me. Doing 3 damage while it's at it. Not bad. That card was banned for a reason. Oh, I forgot to say, hello, good luck. Impolite of me. One thing worth noting, although it's not relevant now, when I do get See the Unwritten, or Harmonize for that matter, this can sack to counter it. Oops, I meant to use the Zoom. Artifact spells, you cast cost 1 less cast, so I guess it's somewhat of an artifact deck. Okay, that is what I wanted more or less. 1, 2, 3. Overgrowth. And tap. 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, some of this is going to go to waste. I'm just going to play another Arbor Elf and pass. But still, next turn we just have a massive quantity of mana, and I actually feel relatively good about where we are. I can also technically kill Copter by monsterousing Polukranos, which is not bad. How much do I have next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana, assuming he doesn't have a kill spell. 13 mana is a lot of mana. 6 + 7, so I can play Primalcrux plus Hornet Queen, or I could play Polukranos plus something. But I'll probably do Primalcrux Hornet Queen. That feels the most. That feels like it'll make my opponent feel the most bad. He's thinking a lot. Thopter, sure. Copter and Guy, so I got into like 16 here, which is a little annoying. He discards. Oh, he discarded a Worm Coil before. He must have pretty buff guys in his deck. Maybe I should be worried about him comboing off too. I mean, he does. All his artifacts do cost 1 less to cast. Maybe he has a bunch of mana rocks or something. I really just. The thing that would get me here is if he plays a Ghost Quarter. That will make me cry a little bit. But if he doesn't play a Ghost Quarter, I actually feel pretty good about where I am. Okay, he discards. Lodestone Golem, sure. No blocks. Gets in for 4. 3 mana, he plays Island Walk. Other blue creatures. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to play. Sure, all my stuff are creatures, so that's fine. Then he passes. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm a little worried he has a combo he's going to do. Only has 2 cards in hand. Oh, he's going to have a ton. He's going to have a ton of mana, huh? Tap an untapped blue creature you control, add 2 mana to your mana pool, spend it only to cast artifact spells. I still think I slam what I got. Just play down a Hornet Queen. Play down Primalcrux. It probably would have been safer to just play down Polukranos there and sweep his board. And so in retrospect, that's probably what I should have done, because I could have killed a couple of his creatures at least. But as long as he doesn't have a sweeper spell, I feel relatively fine here anyway. But we'll see. We'll see what he has in those 2 cards. He's thinking a lot. He says I have the game. I agree. I think I have that game. He has a bunch of artifact things, so I guess maybe Natural State makes it into the deck. Destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted cost 3 or less. That feels good against him. What do I go down? The Woodfall Primus is actually still pretty good. Both gets his lands and gets his copters and things. See the Unwritten still feels good. I could go down Leatherback. He's medium in this matchup, I think. I want all my ramp because he didn't seem to be able to disrupt it, and I do want to get to my high casting cost stuff. Oof. Yeah, it's hard. I want Natural State, but what the hell do I actually go down? I mean, it seems like my game plan was actually pretty good against him. I could go down the Harmonizes, although I do like drawing cards. Maybe I'll go down one Polukranos, although Polukranos felt good too because it's such a good removal spell. Screw it. I don't know. I'll go down one Polukranos. Submit. Alright, Quinoa 1 is back to face me. I assume that he will go first. It seems likely. I think I'm going to keep this hand even though it's a little awkward. I have my 1 of Harmonize. I took out all my other ones. Turn 3 I Overgrowth, and then I can start doing things. Hopefully I draw a Mana Dork in my first couple turns, but if I don't, that's the way life goes. He doesn't have a turn 1 play either. Okay, that's not a bad draw. I need to decide whether I lump them all on one thing. I probably will put them on different things, because 1, I don't have a thing to untap them yet anyway, and 2, post-board is a lot more likely that they'll be running at least 1 Ghost Quarters or 2 Ghost Quarters in the deck, and if you just go all in on one land, you can kind of screw yourself up for a little bit. So, Indestructible, Darksteel Citadel, and Flintnest Crane. So he gets to find the land that he would like, or find the artifact that he would like. He has to reveal it. It's in the first 4 cards of his library. This card is super good. Lodestone Golem, non-artifacts, cost 1 more to cast. Sure, that'll be annoying in 2 turns when he casts it, but I might have enough mana by then to not care too much about it. I'm hoping. That's my hope. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to do everything I want to next turn. I can do Overgrowth, which is what I'm going to do, or I could do Harmonize, but I can't do Overgrowth plus Harmonize. If I draw a Mana Dork, I could do that also. Artifact spells have Convoke. He still only has 3 mana, though. He can't get to, nobody can get that out. Nice. So he's basically Artifact combo. And he has a Copter to put out. Nice. And then that's his turn. He can get in for 1 if he wants to. We'll see if he chooses to. Oh, he has a Ratchet Bomb also. Alright, I guess he can get the Ratchet Bomb to 2 and do a little damage. That'll be pretty annoying. 1, 2, 3. Play this here. Unfortunately, though, I don't have anything else to play with it, right? 1, 2, 3. Yep. Nope. Alright. Pass turn. Lodestone Golem's coming out next turn, which is going to be annoying. He forgot to put a counter on his Ratchet Bomb, which is very good for me. That was a punt by him. Because if he had, it would be at 1 now. He could bring it up to 2 next turn and then set it off. And I mean, 2 does hit his own Copter, but I have to assume 2 is what he wants to do. He's almost out of stuff, but he does have a lot on the board, and he also is going to be able to filter with Copter. I'm up to 7 mana. It depends what I draw. I might very well just see the Unwritten next turn. Oh, no, I can't now. He has 2 Lodestone Golems. Gotcha. Well, get in there, smuggler. So I'm probably just harmonizing. Oh, that keeps me off of 3 mana. Maybe I can't even harmonize. Jeez. Well, that's his whole hand. He's done. But he has a lot of damage on the board, so he might just kill me here before I can do anything. I had another rocky start, a little too much land and no mana dorks. So, well, Polukranos is actually not terrible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could play Polukranos or I could play Harmonize. I think I gotta play Polukranos here. Try to play him, and it's gonna be 2 more or 1 more? Just 1 more. Unfortunately, yeah, this is still gonna be a little slow. Puts a counter on Magic Bomb. Seems good. Doesn't hit anything that I have out right now, but could be good eventually. He probably at least gets in with Smuggler's Copter. I don't know if he wants to trade Lodestone Golems or not. I probably would if I were him. It probably depends what he top decks too. He certainly had a very good draw this game compared to last game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yes, if he swings in with the Lodestone Golems, I will snap off a block and trade, which it sucks. But well, actually, maybe I shouldn't. What can I do with Monstrosity? He does swing with all of them. Sure. It's to loot. So I'm taking 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Would take me to 3. There's no way I win if I don't snap off a block, right? If I snap off a block, I only take 9. Next turn, assuming he doesn't have another way to tax me, I can play See the Unwritten, get my best thing, which what's the other option? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can Monstrosity him X3, kill a Lodestone Golem and not have him die and block a Lodestone Golem. But at that point, I'd be at 5, 10, 13, 14. So I'd be at 3, and he has more than that in the air. So yeah, I got a block here. I mathed it out. Got a block. No choice. Short. And he drew something good, apparently. Okay, that's not a super big deal one. I am totally okay with this guy. So this costs 2 more. This only costs 1 more, but I think I'm still 1 short on it. If not, I would probably play this, destroy the Copter. He still might just have me at... No, because I can block this favorably. Well, we'll see. I think I don't have enough to play Woodfall. Oh, maybe I don't think so. I think I only have set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I only have just enough to play him, and Woodfall costs. I'm just gonna click him to see. He costs 9, right? So I have to see the Unwritten and hope I hit something like Woodfall Primus. I think that's my only shot. So let's see what I see. Let's see what I see in the Unwritten. Do I whiff? Do I hit a Woodfall Primus? Do I hit something big at least? Vorapede will slow him down by a turn, but won't do too much. But that's what I gotta take. So I get a Vorapede. It means I trade favorably with Lodestone Golem, but he still gets in for 4 in the air, and then I need to... He might just swing everything. I would probably swing everything if I were him. Oof, and he had a good top deck because he's anxious to play it. Oh, Golden Crane, sure. So I think I'm losing this game. I had a little bit of a wonky hand, and he had a really strong start, so not too much you can do. The fact that I am running Fertile Ground as opposed to Utopia Sprawl slows my deck down a lot. That's one of the big things I'll talk about at the end when I talk about things to improve the deck. One of the biggest things to improve is running Utopia Sprawl over Fertile Ground. He's going a little while. He reveals another Ratchet Bomb. Is that what he revealed? I actually don't. I guess so. Sure. He's going to swing all. So. Yep, he has to draw and discard the same card. Or no, he's probably just going to discard the Ratchet Bomb, honestly. Well, it depends what he gets, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Block Lodestone Golem. Go to 1. I probably just lose here, right? Yeah, I think so. Alright, buddy. I'm gonna play you down and then scoop. Oh, I didn't even need that many. I needed one less. That's fine, though. Boop, boop. I was turning the corner, I just turned it too slow. The double Lodestone Golems actually do a lot of damage, so. And then I scoop. I don't think he's that aggro a deck, so I don't think I want things like Feed the Clan. I think my current build is about right. And definitely the natural states would have been great there, so I think I just run it back. I don't think there's anything I really want to change here. I mean, the Harmonize was indeed pretty bad. Maybe I just want Polukranos as an additional kill spell, I guess, but other than that, I don't think there's any changes. Harmonize felt too slow against him. In the first game, he felt like a kind of a slow combo-y deck, but that second game, he felt more like a dump your hand tempo affinity deck. Like, not as dump your hand as real affinity, but he also felt like he's putting a lot into his creatures, so if I can get a Polukranos out and monstrosity him for even like 3 or 4, I can probably wipe an important piece, like the guy that makes it so you can convoke. And wiping that piece is pretty important. I could put down Terastodon. Does kill not only a bunch of his lands, but a bunch of his random artifacts he plays, but I don't think it's worth it here. I think I'm better off going a little lower to the ground. I think this is a pretty good build. Hopefully this time around, we've had little wonky draws, and I've kept slightly wonky draws. I thought they were good enough. The first one obviously ended up being good enough, even though it was pretty bad. The second one ended up not being good enough. It almost got there, but it was a little bit too slow. But I keep not having turn 1 mana dorks, which is a big problem. Definitely a big problem for the deck. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I feel relatively good in this matchup. Yikes. I will keep it. Again, this is going to be really slow, so might be a bad keep. He very well might just combo off before I can really do anything. Because, I mean, turn 2, I can play Fertile Ground. Turn 3, I do nothing. I have 4 mana. Turn 4, I can play Vorapede. And then turn 5, I can play See the Unwritten. Not exactly an ideal draw, but we'll see. Hopefully I hit something good to play on turn 3. It's quite possible I should have mulliganed this. I just saw the 2 combo pieces that make this hand pretty good. He went to 6, so he's trying to decide whether he wants to go lower. So, you know, if he has a rough hand, he mulligans a little bit, this could be good enough. He stays at 6. Was probably deciding on his scry. Pass turn. Being on the play will definitely help a lot. I think if I was on the play that last game, I would have actually had a pretty good chance that last game. Alright, I don't think he has a lot of removal, so Voyaging Satyr is actually slightly better here for me, because I can play Fertile Ground and then untap with Fertile Ground next turn. I don't think that'll actually matter too much. It'll get me to 4 mana, but I don't think, unless I draw something, I'm not going to have anything that costs 4 mana. But I might draw something. Oh, he's going to name Voyaging Satyr with the Pithing Needle, so doesn't actually even slow me down by a turn, but it's certainly a little annoying. Activated abilities of sources with a chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Untapping lands is not technically a mana ability, so you can name Voyaging Satyr. And he does. It doesn't really do that much to my game plan right now, though. It doesn't even slow me down by a turn. I drew a land anyway. I got to 3 mana. And I get in the beats, and then next turn I cast Vorapede, which hopefully he doesn't have like a counter for or something. But if he doesn't, then I go Vorapede into See the Unwritten, and I feel pretty good. goes down. Gluttonous Crane, maybe? If he's stuck at 2 mana, I also feel pretty good. He didn't combo off that fast. He tapped his 2 mana and he's waiting a long time. Maybe he has a choice. Maybe he has 2 different cards in hand he's thinking about playing. He did have quite a few 2-drops, so I could understand him having some choices. Plays Smuggler's Copter because he wants to get in with it next turn, and he thinks, probably correctly, that it is super important for him to loot and find his next land. Vorapede, 5/4, Vigilance, Trample, Undying. Seems pretty good. I will swing in with my Satyr. And then next turn, assuming nothing goes wrong, which I don't really think it will given his deck, I can slam See the Unwritten. So he plays out his creature, he's going to get to loot, he might get to drop another land if he loots into one. Probably Gluttonous Crane is my guess here. Nope. Hang your back, Walker. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, I think this time he's going to be too slow, is my suspicion. It's my hope, at least. I hope it's not likely, but I hope I hit both of my... Yeah, you get in for 3, that's fine. Oh, I drew a Primalcrux. I still think I slam See the Unwritten here. I think it's just strong enough that it's worth it, and then I Primalcrux next turn, although I could see the argument for doing either. And this was a pretty good hit. I hit both a Primalcrux and a Woodfall Primus. And I think I'm actually going to let him keep looping and take his... Well, taking Copter feels good too. Do I take Copter or do I take land? Oh man, this is tricky. I definitely don't take this. This just isn't important enough to me. Land lets him keep looting into the pieces he needs, but he might already have found one. He surrenders anyway. Sweet. Good game. Got there. Yes, I was like, I don't think there's any chance he's winning this, but I couldn't decide which one I wanted to kill. Alright, sweet. So, went 3-2 with the deck. Lost to 2 really pretty close to top tier decks with pretty much drawing their optimal draw, so... I mean, the $10 decks, that's going to happen, especially if they just have good draws, and that's in both those games. I don't think I've ever seen... I play Red Green Tron a lot, and I've drawn that well like once in all the time I played it, let alone 2 games in a row. It was insane. Just turn 4 Ugin 2 games in a row off of turn 3. I mean, I guess there is a slightly better line where you get turn 3 Karn, which is probably slightly stronger, but turn 3 Wormcoil into turn 4 Ugin 2 games in a row. Against the deck as slow as the one we're playing is just totally unbeatable. And then drawing 4 Snapcasters in your first 30 cards, and then just having all of your V-Mans, again, against this deck, pretty much unbeatable. So those were 2 really hard matchups. I'll bring you the wrap up in a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't care if I went 3-2 and didn't go do any better. I friggin' love this deck. It's so much fun. See the Unwritten is way underrated. It may not be quite as good as Tooth and Nail, but it is a super fun card. And I really like the fact that it costs 6 mana instead of 9, so it's much easier to hit. And so you get these kind of like... You don't have to wait to do the one turn Emrakul combo kill. You're doing this kind of mid-range game with Leatherback Baloths, but also Primalcrux and like Woodland Primus. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I really like this deck. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Hello, Stratters, Bobgar here. Welcome back to $10 Deck with our See the Unwritten in Modern. This is our wrap-up. So first off, I had a lot of fun with this deck. I really enjoyed playing it. I thought it was a lot of fun. We went 3-2. That's what we've gone in the last 2 also. The competition did feel a little tougher this week than it did the last couple weeks, but you know, it's obviously about the same. But one of the things I was struggling with when coming up with this wrap-up is it feels like the deck doesn't have a lot of good matchups. I think most aggro matchups the deck is going to be just a little bit too slow for, and a lot of the super big Tron decks are also kind of a bad matchup because they run sweepers that also happen to kill our enchantments. And so that leaves like kind of mid-rangey decks and then control decks. And I think mid-rangey decks we have a pretty good chance against just because we go over the top of them. And we go over the top of them in a way that's not super susceptible to just like 1 or 2 single target removals. Because, you know, we're casting See the Unwritten and then hitting 2 things. And we're playing mid-range stuff too. It's just slightly bigger than most mid-range things in Modern. But control, we don't have a great matchup. I mean, ramp decks typically have a very, very bad matchup against control because, you know, ramp decks usually run like one or two things. Like if you're running Tooth and Nail, like if you get your Tooth and Nail countered, you pretty much don't win the game. Whereas this at least does have a lot of redundancy. The threats are spread out. We have a lot of things that get us multiple things. See the Unwritten and Harmonize both kind of Harmonize will refill our hand, and See the Unwritten puts 2 creatures into play. So it makes it a little harder for control to contain us. But as we saw in our matches, though, we did not do super well against control. That was one of our harder matchups. But yeah, so this is the budget version that I made. I think it's at 13 now. When I made it, it was close to 10, but when I recorded the intro, which is what this slide was from, it was right around 11.50. So, you know, it's slightly over 10. I'm cheating a little bit, but still very, very inexpensive on Magic Online. It's all the way up at almost 100 in paper. That's just because some of the big creatures haven't been reprinted that much, and a lot of people like them. Probably they get played a lot in Commander and stuff, I would guess, and just in casual formats. Woodfall Primus is, you know, a cube staple, and so is Hornet Queen, so things like that. So let me show you a slightly more built-up version of the deck and what I changed in it. This is the slightly more expensive version of the deck I ran. It's about twice as expensive in paper and like 10 times more expensive on Magic Online, so it's up there pretty high. I made a lot of changes. I haven't actually tested this, so I don't know if it's better or not. I suspect it will be better, but a lot of the changes that I would make to make it somewhat better are not actually that expensive. So I think the most important change to make to the deck is to take the Fertile Grounds, the 2-mana land enchantment, and replace them with Utopia Sprawls, which is just a 1-mana enchantment that does pretty much, in a mono green deck, it basically does exactly the same thing. The only difference in normal decks is Utopia Sprawl, you have to set what color it taps for when you play the enchantment, and Fertile Ground you get to choose every time you tap it, but that's not relevant to a monocolored deck. And then the other big change is Garruk Wildspeaker. This card is just really good in these green rampy decks. If you have to stave off aggro, he can drop down 3/3s for you and stave off a bunch of the aggro strategies. If you need to ramp, he has a really good ramp package by untapping lands. He can even untap Nykthoses and give you a lot of mana that way. And he also serves as a win condition as long as you can have a board of some kind of creature. His ultimate is an inexpensive one, and it's an overrun effect. So I like Garruk Wildspeaker in this kind of deck a lot. The more questionable choices I made, I wasn't sure what to do. I toyed with putting at least one Emrakul in here too, which I cut from this version of it. But I put in 4 Primeval Titans for our top end instead of the other 7 or 8 mana cards we had, and that was because I felt like it just works really well in these rampy decks. It'll fetch you whatever lands you need, so if you need the Nykthos, it'll get you the Nykthos. It'll thin your deck, so you're a lot more likely to hit on things like See the Unwritten. I also added a kind of utility land package, so it can get you a Kessig Wolf run, and you're running a few dual mountains, so 3 Wooded Foothills to fetch them out, and then 2 Stomping Grounds. And so that's just so that you can basically tap into this Kessig Wolf run and trample over for a ton of damage if you're making massive mana and you don't have anything else to do. So that way, even if you have not a whole lot of creatures, you can just one-shot kill your opponent by getting out a Nykthos and a Kessig Wolf run and, you know, swinging in for 40 or 50 damage. So yeah, that's the non-budget version. That's the deck. That's the week's $10 deck. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this one. This is definitely, of the 3 I made, this one is the one I had the most fun with. I mean, I think all 3 have been a lot of fun, but this is the one that I was gonna do week 2, but I saw that it went up in price, and then I checked week 3, and it had gone down like 50 cents, but now it's back up by $1.50. But whatever, it's close enough to $10, and it's a really neat mono green deck. So I suggest you check it out, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. If you enjoyed this content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/magicgatheringstrand.